Hello everyone, and welcome back to F1 23, the Formula 2 2022 Championship, and the 12th round of it at Zandvoort. So after this there are just 2 rounds to go, Monza and Abu Dhabi. Quite a gap really between the penultimate and final rounds of the championship, but anyway, we have had a pretty tough time in the previous couple of rounds, just luck not going our way in Hungary. It was a very tough circuit, and then in Belgium things just fell apart. So we'll see how it goes here at Zandvoort. It's always been a very tricky circuit for me, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've never been able to get the flow around here. The curbs are so tall you can't touch them. Otherwise you will be sent off into somewhere far away from the circuit, and yeah, especially through that long right-hander, you cannot touch that outside curb. It is disastrous. But anyway, as we come towards the very tight chicane, this is one part of the circuit I can usually get through pretty nicely and maybe gain a bit of time here. I always feel like I run it out pretty wide on the exit, not really on that occasion, but I do have a tendency to go quite wide early on the exit there. But we bring it around the final banked corner here at Zandvoort, and we'll see what kind of time we put in qualifying, and we go fastest so far.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top 3.
Dewitt, Hauger and Jed Deruvula.
The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
Well, there we have it, the end of qualifying here, and we are back to our usual ways of getting pole by 0.8 of a second. So that's lovely. We're just going around in circles here. There really is no getting the balance right. It's a wild guess every time. Sometimes, very rarely, we manage to get it right. But anyway, unfortunately, our teammate, terrible qualifying. Amari Cordial, decent one though. So at least one of our championship rivals is up here with us. The Pramers are doing very well though, so we'll definitely need to watch out for them. And those 2 points will give us a little bit of a boost in the championship as well. But let's get into the sprint race.
Welcome along to Zandvoort for another fascinating Formula 2 race today. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of the 2.6 mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. They are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Alrighty then, so here we are on the grid, ready to go racing for the sprint race here at Zandvoort. It looks like the strategy is going to be a double soft tyre run in the sprint race, and we'll be able to save our hards for the feature race, which is absolutely fantastic. This is usually, you know, when we have this as the preferred sprint race strategy, it's the best we can sort of manage the tyres across the weekend with the tyre selection bug in the feature race. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it as we go to the 5 red lights, and away we go very quickly there. Very short hold off the line, and it's a great launch as we head down towards the first corner. Not really anywhere for us to go, quite a narrow pit straight here, and we're just going to have to try and fire this out around the outside, maybe trying to gain some places, but no moves made there really, and we just have to wait our turn. Maybe around the outside here, can we make something work all the way around the outside? Nothing working there at all for us, and we just have to stay behind Felipe Dragovic for the time being. We have gained a couple of spots up into 8th position, so we are up 2 so far. with Jane Deruvala driving for Prema. One of our, I guess, one of our championship rivals in terms of the team's championship. Not that that is a particular concern. I think we've more or less got that wrapped up at this point. But he is behind us. Dennis Hauger as well is the other one that we need to watch out for in terms of the Prema drivers. But anyway, we are on the back of Felipe Drugovich, still looking for a way through. This is on board with Deruvala, and he has damage to the front wing. That was a very short glimpse. That was the only piece of footage I recorded. Just I don't even know, like a tenth of a second, which I just put in super slow-mo there to show that. But anyway, so yeah, that was helpful. But we begin making our way through the field. We've gotten past Fittipaldi as well as Drugovich, and now we get past Teo Porcher as well. So we are steadily making our way up the order, and yeah, we have pretty good pace in the sprint race so far. There's this curb that I was talking about, and we're off the road, and that is what that curb does. Once you get on it, you just cannot get off, and it's actually quite similar to what happened in Hungary, where we just got on the curb and could not get off of it, and it just steered the car straight ahead.
P7, 7th place.
So that's dropped us into P7. So we have a lot of work to do now. And Amaury Cordial is out. That is a huge engine failure for Amaury Cordial. He's gone. So the Belgian driver will not make it to the end of this one. Here it is on replay. Mechanical failure for Amaury Cordial. And the Van Amersfoort driver at the team's home race, no less, is out. Wow. And oh, what's this? This is Jake Hughes, the other Van Amersfoort driver, and he has an issue as well. So a disaster for the home favourites here, and the Dutch team will have no finishers in the sprint race. What a disaster for the black and orange team there. Goodness me, Van Amersfoort. Their preparation for this weekend has been terrible, clearly, because that is 2 mechanical dramas for each driver there. Goodness me, that is horrid luck for the home favourite team. They still got MP Motorsport, I suppose, the Dutch fans, a couple of Dutch teams here in Formula 2. So they'll be cheering on Felipe Drugovich and Clement Novalak from now on, I suppose. So they also got Richard Verschoor, the Dutch driver. So there's a lot of Dutch representation in the Formula 2 field.
Go, go. That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
Meanwhile, we've headed into pit lane to get a new set of soft tyres on. Looks like
Strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
the hards might be the preferred tyre for the others, so this will be interesting to see how the rest of the race plays out. I might struggle for tyre wear towards the end versus the others, or maybe we'll just have some very good pace to work with. But it will make things more challenging for them in the feature race as we go around the outside of Teo Porcher as he's coming out of pit lane there, and that puts us up into 4th position. Just Ayumu Iwasa, Richard Verschoor having a great run at his own race, and I believe it is Marcus Armstrong in the race lead. But Ayumu Iwasa is up next as we set the fastest lap of the race. As we have a look to the inside, no move to be made there. Please stop talking, engineer, as we try to chase down Ayumu Iwasa on the exit of turn 1. Not really getting any kind of run there, and yeah, it's too tricky to make any kind of move through this zone of the circuit. So we need to wait for a better opportunity, and we are really strong out of the final few corners. If I can get this hooked up, we can get a great kind of slingshot through here, and big slipstream along the main straights as well with the DRS open. And we've got all the overspeed we need to try and go for this move around the outside later on the brakes, and we'll flow it into the apex nicely there ahead of Ayumu Iwasa.
Good job, nice overtake.
And that moves us up onto the podium. Now we'll see if we can spoil the party for the fans here and get past Richard Verschoor, who, to be fair, is not all that far behind Marcus Armstrong. So if we can get this move done, we could be maybe on for the win if we can chase down Armstrong, but there's still plenty of work to do as we get the DRS open once again on Richard Verschoor this time, and we'll see if we can get past the Dutchman as he defends to the inside, all the way to the inside.
And we
make the move around the outside, and we move ourselves up into second position, lap 21 of 29. So still a long way to go in this race, but a big mistake there off into the sand, and that's cost us those 2 positions that we just worked so hard for. And now we've got to do it all again.
Start in behind and try to keep up with them. There might be an opportunity to take the place back.
And yeah, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to try to find that opportunity once more. But yeah, mistakes starting to play into things in this race. Like I said, it's a really difficult track. Very easy to make mistakes here as we get the run on Iwasa, and a little bit of a miscommunication of who was going where there. But anyway, we go around the outside, and we make the move all the way around the outside of Ayumu Iwasa, and we get the job done through turn 1 there. Next up, once again, is Richard Verschoor, who's still holding on to a podium here. Let's see if we can get past Richard Verschoor, move ourselves up into second position. We've got a good run out of the final corner. He defends all the way to the inside again, so we'll go to the outside, and hopefully we'll be able to get this move done. And we do just that, move ourselves up into second position.
Nice move, keep going.
But Marcus Armstrong has gotten away with all that scrapping we've been doing.
Just started the final lap of the race. Final lap
of the race now, and Marcus Armstrong is within sight, so maybe there's a chance we can chase down the Kiwi driver. It would be quite the fight back after the couple of mistakes we've made in this race, but it's certainly possible. So we just need to make sure we get through this last lap as cleanly as we possibly can, and we might be in with a chance of chasing down the high-tech driver. But for the moment, he's got enough in hand that he won't have to worry about us too much. But if we can close in through this middle sector, we might be able to just get ourselves involved in the fight. You're playing with fire, especially through this right-hander. The further to the outside you go, the more speed you can carry, but at the same time, you're closer and closer to that very dangerous curb. So we're playing it safe now towards the end of the race. We don't want to throw this finish away because second is still very good. So yeah, we'll see if there's anything we can do. We've really only got 2 opportunities left, and we're too far back for this one, so it's going to have to be on the run to the line. We throw it in deep there in a desperate attempt to try and close that margin, and it looks like it's actually worked for us, as we are quite close behind Marcus Armstrong now. So if we can get a good run through the final corner, we might be able to do something here. We've got a problem. We're out of fuel, and once again we are going to be crawling to the line with no fuel left in the tank. And this has happened before, and now it has happened again. I believe it was Silverstone, if I recall correctly, where it happened. Either way, we are losing tons of places here, and we're going to end up down in P8 by the end of it.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
What a disaster at the end of this race. We should have been second, but out of fuel to the line. We still get the driver of the day, but there's no points for that.
It was touch and go for a while there, but High-Tech GP have done it. A great win. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just 1 lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations, and how well deserved is this one? What a fantastic victory for High-Tech GP.
Well, it is Marcus Armstrong on the top step of the podium today. Second place goes to Richard Verschoor, the Dutchman, on the podium here in the Netherlands. And P3 for Ayumu Iwasa.
It's a good result for Jack Doohan, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Marcus Armstrong. That was a quality drive from start to finish. He can be proud of that one.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship.
Virtuosi move to the top of the table.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, that's another tough one for us. Our first race point, at least, in several rounds. We didn't come away completely empty-handed this time, but yeah, or right, 2 points actually, because we did get the fastest lap as well. So a point for 8th and a point for the fastest lap. 2 points for pole position actually gives us 4, and doesn't make things look quite as bad in the round standings so far. But yeah, that really just didn't go to plan, did it? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fuel thing's tricky because there's no fuel map in Formula 2. Not that it's in F1 anymore either. So there's no way you can get that fuel back if you burn too much fuel somehow. That's it. I guess you could lift and coast, but you know, we were trying to chase down Marcus Armstrong. I was just, you know, fully focused on that. Fuel just wasn't even on my mind, because it's never usually a problem in Formula 2. But yeah, for some reason it does come up every once in a while, and we do need to manage it. So yeah, it's tricky. But anyway, yeah, let's have a little run through the finishing order. It was obviously Marcus Armstrong ahead of Ashore, and it was Teo Porcher ahead of Felipe Drugovich. P5, P6 for Hauger, P7 for Fittipaldi, and myself rounding out the top 8 and the point scorers in this one. So yeah, not great. Marino Sato ends up P12 at the end of that one, so nothing for our teammate. In terms of the drivers' standings then, given that Cordial didn't score anything, and we've scored 4 points so far this weekend, our margin has blown out to 74 points, 78 to Marino Sato. And yeah, we are bordering on being able to wrap up the championship maybe this round if we have a good feature race. In terms of the team standings then, Prema are 160 points adrift now. So, you know, it's not a complete disaster. Thankfully, all of our championship rivals had their own, you know, bit of trouble, I suppose, in this one. It'll be interesting to see how Cordial and Hughes go in the next race with, you know, completely brand new hard tyres, the same as us, heading into the next one. So let's get into it and see how it goes.
Welcome back to Formula 2, where the tension is building for what promises to be another exciting race here in the Netherlands. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of the 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. As the engineers make their last inspection of the cars, let's take a look at today's grid order for the race. A fantastic effort from Jack Doohan yesterday puts him on pole position, with Dennis Hauger alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have De Ruvela, Porcher, Felipe Drugovich, Owasa, Cordial, Armstrong, Fittipaldi, Richard Verschoor, Vips, Hughes, Callan Williams, Clermont Novalak, and Sato, Vesti, Lawson, Ollie Caldwell, Calderon, Nissani, Sargent, and Ralph Boschon completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Alrighty, so here we are on the grid, ready to go racing for the feature race here in the Netherlands. This is actually attempt number 2 because the first attempt went missing. I loaded up the game the other day to start recording the next episode, and it put me straight back here. So yeah, I guess we're doing this again. Attempt 1 didn't actually go that well, so it's not all too disappointing that we have to have another go at it. But yeah, just puts me behind schedule slightly, but we'll not worry too much about that. So, in terms of a strategy, we're going to start on softs that are half worn, then we'll go on to the mediums, or the hards rather, which will take us to the end. 5 red lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the feature race here at Zandvoort. A good launch off the line. Everyone starting on the hard compound tyres, with the exception of myself. So we've gone in a different direction. Hopefully it will work out well for us. If we have any kind of safety car intervention late in the day, it won't help me, but if we can get a safety car early, that will be fantastic, and we'll be able to make that pit stop and come out in good track position, hopefully, but we'll worry about that if it happens. For now, we just need to focus on pushing as hard as we can for the first 8 or 9 laps in this race. Again, just like last time, we have a very narrow pit stop window here of just 1 lap, so or 1 lap's leeway. We can pit on lap 8 or lap 9. That's as far as these tyres will get, and if we pit any earlier than lap 8, it'll be too long on the next set.
Window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
So the first stint was rather uneventful. We pulled away, and then once the tyres started falling away, everyone else started catching up again. So that was really all there was to it through the opening phase of the race. So yeah, there's not really been too much to report.
Boxing this lap, give us the best in lap you can.
And yeah, we get ready to come into the pits for the next set of tyres. These ones are feeling pretty done. As you can see on the front left, we're bordering on that puncture territory of 75% or higher, I believe, but it's somewhere around there. And yeah, we took a bit of a risk of going 1 more lap, but not too much, honestly. And yeah, we're going to have a bit of a moment there as we go a bit wide, and that could allow the Prema car behind us of Jane Deruvela to get involved. We managed to hold on, but Deruvela is right there behind us, almost pushing us out of the corner. Dennis Hauger there as well, so both the Premas were on board with Hauger here, and Deruvela got alongside briefly, but we had the inside for the next corner. But it does show our tyres are falling away, and we're really struggling for traction at the moment, and yeah, the 2 Premas are stacking up behind us. So we come around the final couple of corners on our in lap. Our front left tyre survives, and we'll bring it in to the pit lane, and we'll put the hard tyres on, and we'll get a massive undercut on everyone else. We'll have fresher hards for the next sort of middle portion of the race, and yeah, we'll get some good track position late in this one.
Okay, off we go, back into the race. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Yeah, before everyone else puts the softs on at the end, and we'll try to catch up. So that's basically the plan. We've got some clear air in front of us we can push into, so let's try to make the most of this phase of the race, and yeah, see what we can do. But yeah, the first problem though,
the underbody's taken a little damage, just watch out for it. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
I couldn't figure out where that happened. I made the comment that these F2 cars are pretty resilient, but obviously we've pushed our limits with the curbs here a bit too much. These are probably some of the most aggressive curbs of the season, so yeah, it's very easy to damage the floor on these curbs, and we've just done exactly that. Big dive down the inside of Ralph Boschung as we catch at the tail of the field.
Good job, nice overtake.
And we do need to make our way through this lot as quickly as we can, because we want to stay, close to the race leaders as possible.
We're currently trailing our teammate by 7.5 seconds.
So we go around the outside of Roy Nassani, and we're going to have a little overtaking spree here as we make our way through the field. Tatiana Calderon is up next. We go for the move down the inside into the chicane. Calderon fights that pretty well on the outside there, but we've got the grip around the outside. Next up, it is Liam Lawson in the Red Bull liveried Carlin. We've got Logan Sargent for Williams on the left as well. Big dive down the inside, and we pass both the Carlins in one corner, and that was a nice one there. Next we have the Alpine, well, not liveried car, but Alpine-backed Ollie Caldwell, and we are absolutely harassing Ollie Caldwell along the straight. Now we'll go for the move around the outside, and we'll get the move done and move ourselves up one more position, but still plenty of work to do. Dive down the inside, and an aggressive and opportunistic little maneuver there, and we get past Frederick Vesti in a very unusual part of the circuit to get that one done. And then as we continue to push on, we catch up to Jake Hughes. Took us a bit of time to get this one done on Jake Hughes, but nonetheless we do that. Hughes, of course, one of the drivers that retired from the first one, so his hard tyres will be in better condition than anyone else's as we go for the move down the inside again. And we might just be able to make this stick around the outside as we're continuing to fight away, and we get ahead of Marino Sato. So good scrap with our teammate there as we're putting the pressure now on Clement Novalak around the outside into the first corner, and we get the move done on Clement Novalak reasonably easy there. Next up is the Brazilian Enzo Fittipaldi as we sit in the slipstream all the way down towards the first corner, towards a pit wall for Fittipaldi there as we make the move to the outside and move ourselves up another position. So we're flying through the field here as we continue to push on, and it probably won't be too long until everyone else starts making their stops. We get past Callan Williams and Richard Verschoor, two Tridents for the price of one, as we fight our way through the first corner. Verschoor gave us a bit of a fight on the exit, but we managed to get through, and yeah, we passed the two Trident cars there. So that's the second time we've overtaken two teammates at the first corner in one maneuver, so that's a weird little thing. But anyway, we get past Yuri Vips, and soon enough we'll be putting pressure on Cordeal, who enters the pit lane along with a couple of others, and we move ourselves up into fourth position as we start to put the pressure on Marcus Armstrong.
Marino's coming in for his stop now.
Our teammate in for his stop as we go for the move down the inside of Armstrong into this very technical back section of the circuit, this sort of never-ending right-hander, and we'll have to be a little bit robust, but we get the move done, and
nice move, good job.
We move ahead of Marcus Armstrong. We're nowhere near the apex, but that's nothing unusual. But anyway, we continue on, and as everyone else makes their final stops, we will move ourselves up into the race lead. So now we just need to push on to the end and hope they don't catch up, as the radio is starting to play up, which is a bit of a pain. But anyway, yeah, that's basically where we are at the moment.
You're in first position, front of the pack. Hauger's behind you. Our gap behind is 11.8 seconds.
Hauger in second position now, but a long way back.
Gap to your teammate behind is 27.1 seconds.
We do have a problem emerging, which is that the fuel we have is nowhere near enough to finish the race. We're almost a lap into the red, and we make a mistake there as Hauger catches up, and both Hauger and Daruvula get through. So all of a sudden we've dropped into third position in this race. Lendo no. Okay, Lendo Norris? I don't know. Anyway, the radio is completely stuck now. So not only does that mean we can't use the radio, it's also taken away the fuel, which I need to see to know how much I need to save. So we've had all sorts of issues in this one, but the radio has completely failed, and the radio menu is not going away from the MFD. And now I have no idea how much fuel I've got, no idea how much I need to save, and yeah, that is going to make things very difficult. But we'll hopefully be able to get that fixed at some point, and we continue on. It's still being a problem as we're under pressure, and we go very deep into the first corner, starting to struggle with all the various things we have going on. We've managed to fight back and re-overtake Teo Portier there, but yeah, things are not going well at the moment. We can't see the fuel that we have left. I know we have low fuel, We have old tyres. We need to lift and coast. We're trying to, manage things the best we can as Frederick Vesti retires from the race with a mechanical failure, and won't take any further part in this one. So, as we continue on, thankfully the radio issue seems to have resolved itself. So that's good. But yeah, it's been a weird race.
Okay, the underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful. Be careful, the tyres have deteriorated significantly at this point.
Got a bit close to the outside wall there. No more damage than what we had before, though.
Complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
I'm not sure why I did that one, but anyway. But yeah, we're still under a lot of pressure as we continue on through this race, and on to lap 38 now. Again, big lift and coast into the chicane, bit deep there, but we managed to pull it up. And this is we're trying to rush these corners as Enzo Fittipaldi gets through, would go for the big dive down the inside, and you lift on the early in the braking zone, and then try and rush to the apex and make up the time. It's a whole mess. So yeah, we're really struggling. Enzo Fittipaldi is absolutely hounding us. And if it's not Fittipaldi, it's everyone else who's starting to join the queue, as we're fighting it out side by side through the first sector, and we'll have the inside for the banking. We'll be able to hold on to this, but whenever we go side by side like that, I can't keep saving fuel. I need to put the power down and try and retain the position.
Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
But as we start the final lap, the fuel situation does not look good at all whatsoever, and I'm thinking that there might not be any real chance we can make it to the end of the race. I'm going to try and save as much fuel as possible, and maybe worry a bit less about trying to hold on to the position. But yeah, I really don't see how we can make it to the end with the fuel we have. It's just not going to happen, as we're going very cautiously into all these corners now, and the tyres are well and truly past their best at this point as well, as we missed the apex there. That allows Fittipaldi up the inside, and we can't fight it anymore. We need to save fuel if we want any chance of bringing home a couple of points in this one. We need to make sure we cross the line, but there's only so much fuel you can save, and I'm starting to think we're just not going to get there. And in fact, I'm almost certain now. Look at that number. It's not looking pretty. But the checkered flag is out for the race leaders out in front. It has been a great race for the Prema team. Dennis Hauger and Jayan Derivala flying in formation here. And it's going to be Dennis Hauger who takes the win ahead of his Indian teammates. Great stuff. Winner, winner, chicken dinner once again for Dennis Hauger. We're out of fuel as we come towards the final couple of corners. We're just going to run it off the road and let the whole field by. And it's going to be no points finish for us as we come down the racetrack and try and stay out of the way. And
Okay,
nope,
so
they're
the
going to the
gap
right.
behind
There we go.
is
We get
8.4
across eventually.
seconds.
But no luck yet again. And just when it looked like we were going to have a good race,
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
something else comes up. We've really had a tough run these last couple of rounds, but Monza is up next, so that should hopefully be a good one.
Great effort there from Prema to take the victory today. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
It was down to one thing: consistent pace over everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and tire strategy, what has occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
So it is Dennis Hauger who leads home a Prema 1-2 with Jane Deruvala in second position. Enzo Fittipaldi takes a fantastic third for Charouz.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Lots of driver impressed me today, Alex. But if I have to say one that impressed me most, it's Dennis Hauger.
And now a look at the team standings.
Virtuosi moved to the top of the table.
That's the end of today's race. Thank you for joining us, and I'm sure you'll agree it was a great race and sets us up nicely for the next installment in a few weeks' time. Take care. From Davide and I, it's goodbye.
Alrighty then, let's have a little run through the finishing order. It was Dennis Hauger with the win ahead of Jane Deruvala, and then I'll finish off the podium, of course, Enzo Fittipaldi for Charouz. Good points for the Charouz team. They'll be very happy about those. Matteo Porcher fourth ahead of Emery Cordial, the first of our championship rivals really. And then Yuri Vips, Callan Williams, Marcus Armstrong and Richard Shaw rounding out the points finishes. Deruvala with the fastest lap. In terms of the drivers' standings then, we have lost a little bit to Cordial. The gap is down to 66 points, and then Marino Sato 78 points adrift, just bordering on championship contention. In fact, I think there are 39 points available for each weekend, so Sato will need a perfect finish to the year, all pole positions, fastest laps and wins if he wants to have any chance, but I find that highly unlikely. It's really just between myself and Cordial, so I guess by extension of that we need 12 points for the rest of the season, 13 to make it safe, I suppose, to win the championship. So yeah, we need to make sure we do that. So the earliest I suppose we can win the championship would be the sprint race in Monza if we get pole position and the fastest lap. But anyway, we'll see about that when the time comes. In terms of the constructors' standings then, we lead the way, although that margin has come down with Prema moving up into second position, just 116 points behind us now, which is a small margin in the constructors compared to where it has been. We were talking about that getting to 200 points maybe. No chance of that now. Prema have been putting a really strong finish to the season in, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go for the final two rounds. Their home race up next at Monza, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes for them. But anyway, Van Amersfoort dropping away, and they might have to be looking over their shoulders to Trident, who are just 27 points away from them in the fight for third. But that is going to do it for this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments, as always, very helpful. And on that, I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.